Geek Speak Show, Son of Batman. Plenty of people coming through. We're going to talk about Batman's son, Damian. We're going to see what this movie is about because we're figuring it out and learning it right here on the carpet live. So we're going to bring you along with us on this journey. Son of Batman. Jason Amara, our voice of Batman and Son of Batman. This is your second time donning the cowl, if you will. So coming at it this time, what did you bring with you that you already learned the first time when you did Justice League?
Experience. I think the hardest thing about voicing Batman for the first time was trying to find the sound of, you know, how the guy himself should sound, but also how to produce that sound and how Batman and Bruce Wayne differ slightly. So I found that quite tough on Justice League War. I mean, I was fairly happy at the end with what we produced, but this gave me another, a second crack at it. It gave me another crack of the whip, and it was a chance for me to kind of really hone in on what I wanted to improve, and even start to enjoy myself. And
go figure.
Yeah, and that's why I love this movie, because I had a great time working on it.
Well, then you have to break down for us then some of the differences between voicing Bruce Wayne and voicing Batman, and how do you make that shift?
Well, I mean, obviously Batman is he's darker. He's, I think, the embodiment of what Bruce Wayne is setting out to do, setting out to achieve. So Bruce himself, I think there's a responsibility that Bruce has to be fairly charismatic for the board, for his business, for all of the things that Bruce does for Gotham. So he has to be pretty well put together and pretty presentable, whereas Batman doesn't need any of those things. So it was kind of fun to play with the differences there. Although I have to say that I don't think there was a huge contrast. I didn't want there to be a startling contrast. Yeah, it's still the same guy, but one is a guy that's willing to please publicly, and the other guy is private and he's just out to intimidate you.
Gotcha. So then, speaking of intimidation, it can be completely intimidating being the son of Batman and jumping into the family business, if you will. It's with crime fighting. Did any of those themes resonate for you, or resonate with you and your family? Did you think about what that would mean to train a child to follow in your exact footsteps?
I think the trick as a parent is to try to guide your kid, and if he has any, natural aptitude for stuff, whether it's for sports or something else, you're trying to guide those energies and channel them into, positive things and things that have a positive outcome, like doing stuff for other people, or trying to be the best, playing on a team, or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is an extreme situation where Damian has been trained by the League of Assassins, and he has some, pretty dangerous ninja skills that Batman is desperately trying to stay on top of. He doesn't want to get into a fight with him, but at the same time he's trying to teach him how to use these powers for good, and that's kind of what you hope you get in the end.
And pouring that on top of adolescence, it's a crazy mixture.
Yeah, it's a crazy mix, and also it's not a particularly happy family story. So he's got to get his head around that stuff too. But you know what? Batman's showing up, and he's being a dad, and he's doing the best he can. So I like that.
This is quite the family portrait that you have behind you right here too. Great.
It's kind of like me and my son at home, relaxing, just shooting through the air. That's him there. Yeah, he's a little pissed. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Jay. Batman to life. How intimidating does it feel?
It's a pretty big legacy, so there's a lot of pressure on it, obviously. But I'm kind of more smooth, go with the flow guy. So I always want to be serious about things, but you can't be too serious because otherwise you're gonna screw up eventually. Yeah, so you gotta have your own little playfulness to it, and bring yourself into the character, and that's how you make legacies. Yeah.
Right. Now, speaking of legacies, I mean, you're a part of a huge legacy now, as you already know this. So looking at this poster, what are some of the things that jump out to you that really get you excited about seeing this movie?
There are many things that get me excited about it. First of all, me right there. That's obvious. That's obvious. Yeah, me right beside Batman. But also, the fact that the sly look in his eye. It's very. You can always get the feeling from him that he's been trained by assassins. He's a very tough guy. But he's also Yes, he's a very tough guy. He's very smart. That's what really gets me excited about it, because sometimes I can actually relate to him as well. Yeah, I relate to him through smarts. Although there is one thing that I think he has an F in manners. Yeah, he has to work on that. But I also relate to him through martial arts. I'm a Taekwondo black belt candidate. I know swords. I know nunchucks. I know staff. I know lots of things. In fact, maybe I could try to show you a little kick or two really quick. Here. Yeah.
That's the son of Batman right there, showing us how to do it.
Assassin in motion.
Congratulations once again, and thank you for pointing those things out. Like that glare in his eyes is quite crazy, right there. There's some crazy in him.
Yeah, you could tell that he has a goal. He always wants. You could tell what he wants. Definitely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you on the screen, man.
Thanks.
All right, cool. All right, and I think you guys want him next, right?
Sure.
Of course, you're in demand here. So we've got Sean, the voice of Nightwing within Son of Batman. Sean, you're sipping on something right now, but your first day when you showed up to voice Nightwing, was there any sort of herbal tea or any water? What do you keep with you to keep the voice fresh?
It's a good question, because it was actually the first time that I've ever voiced a character is this movie, and I was so I had all of my throat coat teas and my everything, because I sang, but I had never done voiceover work, so I was terrified. But Andrea was extraordinary and took really good care of me. What the most interesting thing is that they keep green apple slices. Because sometimes when you hear that, like when you're talking, you can hear like a little spit in people's mouths when their mouth is dry. The green apple slices takes that away. So I was sort of fascinated by that. There's this amazing trick to keep your mouth dry, or mouth moist.
Moist. Okay.
When your mouth is dry, eat green apple slices.
Good to know. Yeah. Okay, any other tips from Nightwing? Like, if Nightwing were to give us a tip right now on the carpet about Son of Batman, about what we can expect from the Nightwing character, what would you share?
Oh gosh, I don't know. You're in for quite a ride, and not my fault.
Gotcha. And then finally, a favorite element of just creating the film.
A favorite element? I think just being in the booth and bringing the character to life. And when I was there, I had a picture of Nightwing on a music stand right in front of me. So just sort of looking at him and sort of trying my best to kind of, translate as best he would. That would be my favorite element.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so Miss Romano, congratulations on yet another feat here with the Son of Batman. What did you bring to this film that was different than any of the others that you've done?
We've had very few of these that had children as a main character, and I love working with real kids, I really do. And this young actor is so wonderful. He came in for his audition in his wonderful fedora, so styling, but this confidence and this strength that was so crucial for the role. And I loved working with him. Not only was he right for the role, but he had ideas of his own. Andrea, how about if we... Okay, let's try that, Stuart. I know. He's like, what, 14 going on 40. Yep.
Whoa, that's so much confidence that comes on in. And it's funny because you have such a cool cast of people as well, because our actor who portrays Nightwing, he said that this was, he comes from a singing background. So how did you use those skills, pull those skills that he already had as a trained singer and help to translate those into something that would work in this?
The thing about on-camera actors, I always go number one for a good actor. And I loved Sean's work, and I was determined to always, at some point in my career, use every actor from Firefly. So it's just a matter of finding the right role for Sean. And then because he's a singer, he has microphone technique. He's been in front of a microphone. He understands. I didn't have to teach him how to not pop, how to deal with mouth noise. He knows all that because of his vocal work, doing singing work.
Gotcha. He also mentioned something about green apple slices being used.
Yes, when the mouth clicks, when there's extra saliva in the mouth, an easy way to get rid of that, especially if you're recording in the morning, is to eat a little bit of green apple, and it just takes it away. Learned it from singers.
Fantastic. We're going to take that tip along with us. Thank you so much, Mr.
Pleasure to
Romano.
see you
Appreciate
again.
you. Thank you. Okay, so Phil, when it came down to designing the characters for Son of Batman, what's the feeling that you wanted to evoke?
I guess Batman is one of those characters that, you know, for every artist, it's a milestone when you get to work on that character. For the last 5 years, I've been kind of the Justice League guy. From all my work at Warner Brothers, even Young Justice was basically a team show. So I was really looking forward to just working on the Batman mythos. That being said, he's a character who's like has so much range, you know, with how you can depict him. So I already kind of knew what my take was going to be. Also knowing who was going to animate it, the really talented Answer Studio in Japan. So I already have some anime influences in my style, and I kind of looked at what they do and what their strengths are, and I just pushed a little more into that realm to find a comfort zone that we could all work in. And yeah, I just went for something that I felt was going to be classic. You know, a classic take on the character, but still, you know, moving forward with this sort of new look. And it's, I don't know, you know, I was trying to really just appreciate that moment. Any day that you can, you know, go to work and get paid to draw Batman is a good day, so.
For sure.
Yeah.
And finally, then, with all of that said, can you look at this poster for us right now and tell us one thing in here that the average eye might not pick up on, but that you would love for us to be able to pick up on?
Okay, well, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but once you see the movie, it won't be. Basically, all that gear that Damian is wearing, he starts out as like a ninja, right? Because he's trained by the League of Shadows and his grandfather, Ra's al Ghul. Basically, he takes some of that gear, like the ninja gauntlets and the greaves, and he kind of turns him into an aspect of his Robin costume. So he doesn't lose all the ninja stuff when he takes the costume. He kind of takes Dick Grayson's old outfit and combines elements from his ninja background, and he creates this hybrid, you know, Robin sort of ninja outfit. So you'll see elements like even the hood that he's wearing, he actually cuts that up and he makes it part of the cape. Yeah, so there's little elements, like I don't know if fans will catch it, because we were going to do a scene that got cut ultimately, where you show him like taking the ninja outfit and sort of combining it, but it didn't end up in the film. So basically, if you look out for it, you'll see that he's wearing those gauntlets and greaves, and then he kind of paints them green, and it ends up in his Robin outfit. So that's a little something.
Dude, that's more insight than we expected you to share with us right here. Thank you so much, Phil. Appreciate you. We'll share you with the rest.
Yeah, right on.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm James Tucker, producer of Son of Batman, and it's Tucker.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, when it came to Son of Batman, what was it about this project that yelled out to you, this is something that I want to produce?
Well, you know, having worked on Batman a lot over the years, we wanted a story that was fresh, that hadn't been told before, that brought out an aspect of Batman that fans haven't really seen. And I mean fans who aren't, not all just comic book fans, although of course they're our primary audience, but people who have a casual knowledge of Batman. The idea that he has a son really resonates, I think, with anybody, and it's just such a strong idea. And Damian is such a great character that it was kind of a no-brainer to kind of introduce him as the first character in this new line of Batman stories and explore Batman from the angle of being a parent and having to deal with his offspring in a way that he can't with some of his other disciples. So it opened a lot of story opportunities for us.
In fact, it probably opened so many that was it a difficult thing in order to narrow down exactly what angles do we want to explore within this film that can only be but so long, because there's so much with the father and son that you can do.
Right. Well, we wanted to get the gist of the relationship and you know, see how this movie went, and then hopefully further explore it. But yeah, we couldn't literally adapt the first storyline because it's just too unwieldy and long, and it kind of ended on a open note. So and also, you know, the needs of a movie, we kind of needed Damian a little bit redeemed at the end. He's not totally redeemed by any means, whereas the first arc of, you know, Batman and Son, he's still pretty much a little S word. So so we, you know, we took some liberties, but I think it's an enjoyable film. I think it gives you the essence of Damian. It's clear we know who the character is. It's not like, you know, some Hollywood guy just took a comic book and totally screwed it up. We know who the character is. So, you know, we always have to make choices. So I'm really happy with what we did with it. And I think for this continuity, it's its own thing. And the way we're using Damien, I think fans will enjoy.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Yeah, man. Have a great one. This film, how did you bring something fresh to it that you hadn't brought to any of your other projects before?
I think just being Batman, I was able to bring a lot with. It's so much to work with. It's a great character, and I think we added a little film noir to it, and I think we added a little bit of the classic pulp elements to it. After it was done, I was like, wow, this is kind of pulpy. I like it, like old-fashioned a little bit. So.
And how do you infuse the film with that sort of pulpiness? Is it within the script, or is it solely within the animation style? How do you get that in?
It's in both. It's in the script, and then in the shots that we chose and the lighting. It's very dark. A lot of it takes place at night, so we were able to embrace like the film noir, which Batman is great in that anyway. So I think that was going for us. So I think we had a good mix of stuff in there. I think there's ninjas in it. There, you know, mad scientist Langstrom. So it's good. There's a lot of stuff in it.
Everybody loves ninjas, so you can't go wrong with the ninjas.
We're bringing ninjas back. The 80s are coming back.
There they go. So also, as a director for an animated feature, I know that for a lot of us, it's kind of it's a new concept and a new idea for us to understand. What role does a director play when you're not directing physical bodies moving around? So can you give us some insight into that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of the same, but just with drawings. It's like we work with a team of storyboard artists. They each have a sequence from the script, and they're required to draw out almost like a comic strip, you know. And then it's my job to go over it and make sure the acting is right, and like if Bruce Wayne would be standing like this, and that's the thing with Batman. It's like he doesn't emote a lot, so he has to be really restrained. So if you get a drawing where he's too emotive, you're like, Batman, when he wouldn't make that face. It's like you just have to make him neutral, you know, so stuff like that. And we wanted to keep Damien not as just a typical kid, so we made sure in all the poses of the storyboard to make him like a man, like he's a little Bruce Wayne. So he's real confident when he stands. He's not just a bratty kid, you know, so stuff like that.
And we get to see some of that right here in this poster.
Yeah, he's crazy. Watch out. No, he's great. He's a great character. So I think he came out really well, so I'm happy with it. So,
did these gargoyles play any role within the film?
The Man-Bats. Man-Bats. Yeah, Man-Bats. Langstrom's in it. There's a serum. He's making Man-Bats for Deathstroke, so he's making an army of these ninja mutant hybrids. So these guys have swords, and Damien and Batman have to fight them. So
this is so awesome. We can't wait.
A little part of the story. So
May 6th. We can't wait to get into it. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. We'll do.
Thank you so much.
All right.